Yo, what's going on, guys? It is Tom. Welcome back to a brand new video and a brand new episode of Career Mode, and we are here for the Japanese Grand Prix in round 17 of the season, I believe, and really starting to get the crunch time now in the World Championship and getting towards the real tail end of this 21 race season, and jumping straight into qualifying. As you guys now know, the new format until the end of the season, and skipping that practice because we've ceased R&D, and we're currently in the qualifying session in Q1 trying to get through on a set of medium tyres. So deciding to not run the soft tyre and go out on the medium, try and get the slow tyre out the way first and then start the race on the soft tyre, because the race is expected to be wet, especially towards the start of the Grand Prix. So we're going to try and get this medium tyre out of the way, because I've gone for the balanced tyre strategy. And as you can see, we get through into Q2 quite comfortably on the medium tyre, and the Ferrari car driving beautifully around this very nice circuit. And hopefully you guys are happy with the rate of career mode. I know this past week I've been a little bit slow with the uploads, but I've had a lot going on in my life at the minute, and uploads are very hard for me to put out at the moment, and I'm currently recording this once again at 1 o'clock in the morning. So if you guys can slap a like on this, that'd be absolutely fantastic. But as you can see, now currently focusing on Q2 on the soft tyre now, and we actually missed apex quite badly into the first half of the final chicane there. However, we do get the car straightened up quite nicely, and we're going to come through the final corner and across the line, and the lap is going to be good enough at the time for P3, and eventually come the end of the session it would still be good enough to get us into Q3 quite comfortably. And like I said, you know, the cars is hunting, it's just driving beautifully around this track, and there's no major issues with handling. The Rebels are going to be the main competition around this circuit because of the downfalls. And moving into Q3, a bit of an interesting one, because obviously we don't need these tyres in terms of the race start, not like back in the day when obviously the Q3 tyre used to be the race starting tyre. And I actually went for 2 runs in this one, back to back, and the first lap was on the board, only good enough for P4, but I wasn't happy with it, so I decided to just keep on going. I had a minute and a half left on the clock, and I went out for one more lap. So here we go now into the first 2 corners here. Double apex right hander, kicking it into the first corner, swinging it into then into the second. Make sure you pick up some good traction, and now swinging it through the left, right of 3, and then 4, and once again another left-right combo of 5, and then 6. Also right now turn 6, very tricky to keep the nose in because the car understeers wide because of the camber that's offset the corner. Then flat out almost through turn 7, through the Dunlop curve, up through the hill, you know, visibility pretty poor on the power, then flicking it into the double Degner, first Degner, and now into the second one, currently purple in the first sector, so a much better second lap, second time round. And as you can see now, preparing ourselves for turn 10 into the hairpin here, the Kobayashi corner, as I like to call it, where Kobayashi famously pulled off so many overtakes, especially in that 2012 race where he famously got a podium. And the lap's going really well so far, currently up on our Delta, and the car's working quite nice actually on this second lap with these tyres, as we now swing it into Spoon here. Double apex right hander once again, just by keeping it within the track limits here, missing the apex slightly for the second part of Spoon there, getting on the traction nice and early, and then powering the car downhill onto the back stretch. We come across the second sector split, and right now it's looking pretty close between myself and Kimi Raikkonen, only a couple of tenths in it, but Raikkonen's got the edge in the second sector as we now go into the final chicane for the final time this qualifying session, dropping it down to 3rd gear, being really aggressive on that first apex, and then swinging it into the second one, picking up the traction, and now out the final corner, try and keep it nice and tight to the line, open up the DRS, and here we go, across the line, and it's P3 for the time being, and eventually we'll actually finish in P3, so a pretty decent qualifying session there for Japan, and a pretty good second lap actually, and a rarity that I've actually gone out for a second lap in Q3, which is not something I usually do, but overall it worked out quite successfully for me, and that's a very good qualifying session, which hopefully should give us a nice little race position and give us a good chance to get a good result in the race, which there seemed to be some expected rain, so hopefully that'll make things very tasty indeed. But hopefully you guys are looking forward to the race. Without further ado, we're going to jump right into the Japanese Grand Prix. Right, so here we are then for the Japanese Grand Prix in a very rainy conditions here, and compared to last time Malaysia, not as bad as it was full wet in the Malaysian Grand Prix, but this time it's intermediate. And as you can see, we've gone for this sort of strategy. The rain is not going to be here for too long by the look of it, so we could be off the intermediates fairly quickly. So I've also gone for a pretty severe in terms of how aggressive I am for fuel, because I'm going to under fuel this by around 2 kilograms at least to really go aggressive at the start and have some good pace, and hopefully we can get into the lead before the dry period comes. We can try and cruise to the end and make it a very similar race to what we had in Malaysia, so hopefully we can try and pull that one out of the bag. But it's promising to be a good race. I do enjoy Suzuka, it's one of my favourite tracks on the calendar, and fingers crossed we can try and crucially beat Ricciardo. Raikkonen, you know, we've got a bit of a points buffer to him, so we've got a bit of a gap to him. We don't have to necessarily beat him this race, we just have to beat Ricciardo, who's the man on my right. So without further ado, let's jump right into the Japanese Grand Prix. Right, here we go then. 5 red light for round 17 of the season, and it's going to be Lights out and away we go, and Ricciardo has had an absolute barnstormer of a start, an absolute incredible start here for Ricciardo off the line. I've had a pretty good one myself actually. I'm going to just go up the inside of turn 1. Ricciardo runs a little bit wide. I'm going to stick my nose in up the inside of Kimi here, up into second place, getting past Kimi, Raikkonen and my team having a pretty poor start here on lap 1 as me and Ricciardo get off to an absolute stormer, and Ricciardo going to be looking to set the pace early on in that Red Bull car, so I need to try and stay with him and try and get past him, because I know similar to Malaysia he was pretty quick in the wet conditions, so I just need to try and stick with him. Ooh, big moment there, massive moment. Still trying to readapt to these wet conditions after the dry qualifying. I'm recording these back to back, so I've very much got the dry track conditions muscle memory at the moment, and that was a massively scary moment there on lap 1, just about giving the back end out the wall. But the question now is Raikkonen going to make a move, because he's right on my gearbox here, and I think he's going to pick up a nice little slipstream into 130R. I think he's a bit too far back to try and go for a move, and yeah, that's indeed the case. Raikkonen thinks better of it, just lifting off the throttle a little bit through there, not feeling the confidence yet with the car in these conditions. Ricciardo streaking away up front, setting the pace. I need to try and concentrate here, but I know Raikkonen is not going to let me be, and I think he's actually going to get a pretty good exit. I say that he's gone to the grass behind. There's been contact with him with Verstappen, so Raikkonen getting all out of shape out of the final corner there. So that's going to do me a massive favour to try and get the gap out, but I think that's damage for Verstappen, so keep an eye out for that one, even though he still managed to get past Raikkonen. So those two are scrapping it out on track. Meanwhile, I'm going to try and catch back up to Ricciardo here and get into a rhythm, as I've now been given a lifeline to try and catch the Honey Badger. Ricciardo set the fastest lap last lap, and I think now I'm going to set the fastest lap, and there we go. The gap keeps yo-yoing between the two of us, and it's actually really interesting to see who's faster through each sector. I've definitely got the measure of him in the first sector through the S's, but then he definitely has a much better middle sector than me, which is my weak point in qualifying, and the final sector is pretty much the same, so it balances up quite nicely, and it's quite interesting to see how the gap just fluctuates over a whole lap. But right now, I'm starting to feel a little bit now. The pace is starting to get a little bit tasty, at least on mine, and I'm starting to get a bit closer to Ricciardo now, so I could be lining him up for a move in the next few laps. Okay, I'm really close to Ricciardo now this time around. I think I'm going to try and get a good exit out of Spoon and try and sit right in his gearbox and maybe try and get him before 130R if possible. Here we go, good traction out of there. Here we go then, picking up the slipstream on Ricciardo for the lead of the race. Can we try and pull off a move here into 130R? It's going to be side by side. Can I get ahead of him? I don't think I can, so I'm going to have to try and go for the move up the inside. It's going to be very tight, no room through. Ricciardo goes off the track and we take the lead of the race in fantastic fashion here at Suzuka with the purple middle sector. We're now far away the fastest car on the track as we come through the final corner, and now it's a question of trying to stretch the gap out and trying to keep the gap out to Ricciardo and try and set a dominant pace in this Grand Prix. Okay, so Ricciardo's coming to the pit lane, and I believe it's going to be for a New Zealand intermediate, so this completely changes the picture of the race, because here's the thing, the rain's meant to stop in around 15 minutes, and right now on tyre wear it's right in that awkward zone where throwing around the 40% mark, you know, you could come in for a fresh set, you can stay out, but the question is how long until the rain dries up. So I think because Ricciardo's pit now, I'm going to stay out, but the question is I'm going to have to take it easy on my tyres and try and keep them in for as long as possible. So this is going to really make the race interesting now for the second half of the race. Okay, so I'm really starting to struggle with the tyres now, and oh, we've got a virtual safety car. That's not the best. I could have just come in there. Then again, I mean, I don't know what tyres would have come in for because obviously the conditions, but either way, I was just going to say I'm really starting to struggle with the pace, and the virtual safety car is going to help me for a little while, but these tyres are really starting to fade, and like I showed you before in the tyre wear graphic, just hitting the 50 mark now, and these inters are really starting to hit the second phase now, nearing the cliff, because once you lose the edge on the inters, you really feel the understeer, and Ricciardo's really gaining on me on a rate of knots, so I think I'm going to be okay, but if I start dropping my pace anymore, then I'm going to be in severe danger of getting caught, especially if the rain doesn't go away quickly. Just trying to push that car a little bit too much, and the back end is just not liking it whatsoever. Really struggling. Ricciardo's gaining on me like 2 seconds a lap, but the rain apparently has only got 5 minutes left, so I think we're going to be okay, but these tyres are struggling to say the least. As you can see, I've just got no front end grip at all. Just missing the apex just completely, and the back end also not wanting to cooperate that much, so I'm in a bit of a tricky situation at the moment. Oh jeez, back end work please. Oh my days, I'm really struggling a little bit on these tyres now. Ricciardo is catching me really fast, but I'm just trying to keep on the black stuff and not lose too much time, but this is a really tense part of the race. I need to get on those dry tyres as soon as possible. lap traffic. Honestly, I don't understand what's going on. Palmer just go away. Honestly, I like look at my tyres, and then Palmer does that. I mean, I don't know why I could have just got out of the way before that corner. I will never understand. But wow, I'm really struggling with these tyres. I've got to say, I need the track to dry. It's taken forever to dry out. The rain's been gone for about 2 laps now, but the track is just not drying up, and my tyres are really starting to struggle now. And 70 is when you get to the warning zone of a puncture, so I really need the track to dry out like now. Right, I think Ricciardo's in the pit lane. If that's for another set of inters, then I'm good to go. If he's in for dries, then that's a signal that I might have to stop this lap. But the track just looks too wet for dries at the moment, so I'm going to guess he's on for inters. And I think he is on inters. Yeah, so Ricciardo's coming for another set of intermediates. So maybe Red Bull having severe problems with the intermediates, but that's definitely giving me the safety net that I needed now to try and bring this car home. I mean, look at my right front, 77%. I just need the track to dry out a little bit more so I can go onto dry tyres. But that's really throwing the race in my favour now. Okay, so now Kimi pits, and I've got both of the Saubers ahead of me here on intermediate, so I need to lap. But I've got this race on a plate for me to win it. All I've got to do is make no mistakes and hope my tyres just hold up and don't pop, which is going to be the deciding factor here, especially at the front right. I think this is going to be the one that goes if it does. But all 4 tyres so equally worn, which is worrying, because it means that I could almost lose all 4 at once if I do like a stupid mistake. So I've got to be very careful and just tiptoe my way around this track. So let's just see. I mean, the track is not drying out. I'm starting to wonder. I don't think I might even go on dries at all for the entirety of this race. Oh no, the left rear is gone, boys. This is trouble. This is big, big trouble. I'm going to have to come in at the end of this lap. I'm going to have to come in, and I think it's going to have to be intermediate, because I just don't think the track's going to dry out. And I think Ricciardo's going to actually overtake me, because I'm restricted to this sort of speed, which is annoying. And I'm veering to the left quite severely. I think Ricciardo, that's not him, but I think it's the car after this guy. So I'm in severe trouble here at Japan. That's not gone according to plan whatsoever. And I think this is Ricciardo now coming up. So yeah, I think if I salvage a podium out of this, that'll be a good result. But right now, the Japanese Grand Prix has gone up in flames, and it stopped raining ages ago, and it's just the dry conditions have just not come. And annoyingly, it's bit me on the rear. And a few times I thought I'd coming in for another set of inters, because I was just starting to think that the dry conditions weren't going to arrive, and they just didn't arrive. So unfortunately, I think I might have just lost this race unless I get a miracle or a safety car, a virtual safety car. At max, I can probably salvage a second place if I really crack on here after Kimi Räikkönen, but I've really thrown this race away here. I'm currently absolutely flying around the Suzuka circuit, and I'm going to be well on course to set the fast up of the Grand Prix here as soon as I get past Felipe Nasr, and I'm going to be really trying to chase down Kimi Räikkönen hard. I'm 1.5 seconds faster than anybody else on the track on these fresh tyres. Let's try and get second place at least, and then hope that maybe Ricciardo might come in from maybe like dries at the end or something, and I can just hang it out in intermediates, but I highly doubt it's going to happen. Second place is probably going to be the best thing for me today. Okay, I'm right on the back of Kimi Räikkönen. Let's try and get him here. One foul swoop, one simple overtake, not waste any time with my teammate, and try and get the moves done as soon as possible and try and make it as effective as possible. Here we go. Great run out of that corner. Nice bit of slipstream. Rich mix is currently enabled. We should have a nice, comfortable inside line to 130 and even get in front of him just in time for the corner, which is crucial for me and also Kimi to try and keep the pace up. But purple middle sector, we've got Jordan King up ahead for company. Hopefully we can dispatch him fairly quickly, and I should be on course for yet another purple lap here at Suzuka. Just going to try and get the power down. Watch out with Jordan King, who's going to rejoin the track quite dangerously there. And there we go, another fast lap of the race. 13.8 behind Ricciardo. I don't think it's going to happen unless Ricciardo severely gets stuck in traffic. Oh well, through the final corner. Doesn't look like we're going to catch Ricciardo. He did get caught up quite severely in traffic right at the end there with that little train of cars, but it's still second place. I'll take that. Unfortunately, threw the race away. I try to go for the no-stop strategy straight to the dry tyres, but like I feel around lap 20 when I said it, I sort of realised at a point where I didn't think the dry conditions were actually going to arrive. And even though right at the start, you guys saw on the race monitor, there was only out of the 6 possible little pictures at the start, 2 of them were actually rain and the rest of them were just clouds. So I was expecting it to get at least dry, but obviously it never came. So the drain is really slow here at Japan, and that sort of really affected my race quite badly, and just completely caught me out. I miscalculated the race, and Ricciardo getting away, in my opinion, with a pretty poor 3-stop, I believe, or 2-stop strategy, and using 3 sets of intermediates that race. But I think I should have pit for intermediates around lap 20 in hindsight, which is that's why hindsight is such a wonderful thing. But overall, a very poor race, and I think I could have done a lot better there. And I think Ricciardo probably deserved it on the day, but I should have really had that. I thought I had a great pace today, and I should have really challenged him. So overall, a disappointing race. Ricciardo's going to extend his lead in the championship, annoyingly, and it's not a wonder if I can actually catch him, because there's not many races left in the championship. So there we have it. That was the Japanese Grand Prix. And as you can see, a pretty decent second place. Obviously, like I said, I was ruining the strategy decision in a really poor strategy there in the end to not really coming for those inters, but hindsight is a wonderful thing, and unfortunately it's just one of the things that you can't really change. And I think a lot of you guys might have been in a bit of a split dilemma as myself. I'm pretty sure it's not that much of an obvious decision. I think you can always get these sort of things wrong at the end of the day, especially in the hit the moment when you thought the rain was going to dry up a little bit quicker than what it originally was. It's always one of the things that you have to just calculate and hope that you get right. But as you can see, just looking at that drivers and constructor standings, things not really changing massively here. But overall, we need to really get a good result in the next race, because Ricciardo has got a massive win here today. And I hope you guys did enjoy the video today, and if you did so, then a thumbs up would be greatly appreciated on the video. And also, you can subscribe to my channel for future content like this and many other different series, and that'd be also greatly appreciated. But nevertheless, guys, if you did miss any of the videos on the screen, also go check those out if you haven't done so already. And that's about it for this video, guys. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in my next one very soon. Goodbye.